Hey girl, there's been a lot going on this week, so I want to give a quick summary of what has been happening in my life and the changes since releasing that deep root chakra belief and just changes that I've been seeing in myself, just stuff that I've just, stuff that's been happening. So last time I was on here, I was talking to y'all about how I was feeling like I kind of wanted to change my wardrobe a little bit, and I learned some stuff about myself and whatever. Um, I just don't think, what's the proper way to word that? I don't think it's ironic that all this stuff is happening all at the same time. I feel like this stuff is connected somehow. I think something just is happening. I think there is a change happening because, my knees and my body healed at the same time that I want to change a lot about how I dress. And I also feel like I don't really carry myself the same. Like when I'm talking to people, it's changed and is changing because I do feel like there's stuff in transition. Like there's stuff that has changed and then there is stuff that is still in the process of changing. And I feel like that's what makes us all feel like a transition. Like how I respond, how I speak, my posture. I feel like I don't even really pose in pictures the same way, but that's also transitioning, so it's still a little of the old and a little, like I don't feel like I want to pose the same. I don't feel like I necessarily always smile the same like how I used to. Like my big smile is still my big smile. But like just in general, like my facial expressions, I just feel very different in a good way. I feel really, honestly, like the version of myself I would imagine in my head. Like, and I know, of course, it's like, oh, of course, that's how I'm going to feel. It always feels like, I'm at the end and that I've manifested the big thing. At least that's what my inner voice be saying. I be feeling like, oh, of course, we've been here so many times. But this is different, and this really does. I feel like it's her in the transition phase, though. Like I see the room for growth. I see like how it can and will develop, but I also, hold on, sorry, I was getting distracted, but yeah, but I also like feel like her too. Like, I don't know, it's different. And so that's changing. And then at the same time, um, I've learned a lot. Something big has been revealed to me about myself. The thing I told you before that I'm not necessarily talking about in detail yet, but it's like that's another thing to add to this is simultaneously. Um, so you got the body changes, you have the changes in expression, you have the changes in, body posture and carrying yourself. And then there's the changes in relationships. There's a big thing that just happened in my family. You know, it's so much at once. And it's all good stuff though. Like even the big thing in my family, like it does not there's it's good in a sense of like the way it's bringing us together and stuff's being revealed and stuff is on the up. Like, even the hard stuff is good. Um, but it's still like a lot at one time. Like in my home too, like it's just like a lot of stuff. So, um, and then it's simultaneously happening while my conscious brain or like my ego or whatever, like, feels like feeling like I need to be figuring out something with money too though, which I do, like I am, but I've just been so distracted by all of these other things that are happening that are important. Like this the stuff that I'm doing is important. The stuff with my family especially is important, but even the changing of my wardrobe and the um sitting with these thoughts and myself and what I'm noticing, what's being revealed, the mirror stuff that I'm seeing with people. I think I mentioned that before. You know, part of what's brought this healing is I saw the mirror in my relationships and what they were reflecting back to me. And so now I'm seeing that in a lot of areas. I'm seeing that with musicians that I like. I'm seeing that with artists. I'm seeing that with public figures. I'm seeing that with people in day to day. I feel like we really are like, yeah, we're all just out here doing our best for real. I see, like, I don't know. It's still, I'm still unpacking stuff. So, you know, there's a lot in transition, even there too, and more being revealed kind of each day. But, stuff has been going well, and the financial pressure has not consumed me at all so far, so that's cool. Like, it's still there and it's still scary, but I'm also just like, there's a lot happening at one time. And to me, that's a synchronicity in and of itself, especially with how I just feel. Like, how I feel is really interesting. And it's hard to describe. And I'm just watching, I guess. I'm just watching. And I'm taking care of myself in the meantime. I've never, I think what's really getting me, on top of, you know, other things, but I've never actually had to compromise the way that I live. And that's something that gave me some peace a long time ago, where I was just like, why would I have to start now if I've never had to? Blah, blah, blah. And I've come back to that. And I'm like, so a bunch of stuff is happening at one time. And then I've also never genuinely had to give up everything and be homeless. Like your worst case scenario that your brain likes to conjure up, whatever it is. You know, it's like, I've like faced this big scary thing so many times, and it's never actually happened. I've never actually had to compromise on buying what I feel is the best food for my body in the store and getting the best products for my skin or my hair, or compromising on taking care of myself. You know, taking time for whatever. Like, I haven't done that in a long time. And so I feel like, why would I have to suddenly start doing that? Something has to happen in my favor. But then I'm also, you know, the logical side of me is just like, but how the fuck is that going to happen? Like, I really don't know. And another thing to add to the list of simultaneous, that while all this other big changes are happening in my life and big reveals, like the reveals are huge. The reviews are like, we are drawing the curtain back on the deepest of deepest things in my freaking life, going back to when I was a freaking embryo. Like, we're revealing big stuff here. And while that happened, is like that menstrual cycle that I talked about in the last vlog, where it was the most painful release or whatever. And also, um, let me not even, let me not even tangent. But simultaneously happening with that and the big release even from my skin, like I had so much inflammation in my body and it was the most painful cramps. The fact that I needed medication instantly is crazy. That has never, and the skin is doing a lot better. We're finally not so inflamed. It definitely, you know, has some, we're not, you know, fully perfect, but last week it was just like, geez, there was so much release, like from everywhere. I felt so round and inflamed, and there's just so much going on. And there's still a lot going on, but at least stuff is like calibrating. At least we're kind of like, you know, there's some breath. And And the transition is still fun. I love identity upgrades. I will say that. I actually have like kind of a lot of fun in the release and renewal of it all, even though it always can, or often, I shouldn't even say always because it depends. It can have a kind of unsettling element to it, but you know, it's also fun to watch and see. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, girl, um, I'm figuring it out and I'm doing my best, and I hope you are continuing to do your best and things are going well. And yeah, girl. Hey, girl. Oh, the mic is all the way over there. um, oh, I can still put it on my necklace though. Whatever. Hey, girl, I'm not gonna be on here that long. Um, these past few days have been super cool. I got to do senior pictures with my sister, um, which meant a lot to me. Like, I took the pictures for them. Um, and I'm just so excited with how they came out. I'm so glad we got to spend all that time together. I think it was really good for me and my family, me and my mom, me and my sister and my mom, all three of us as a whole together. Um, and so that's been exciting. I did get some new clothes and, whatever, whatever. And my stuff has been selling on Facebook Market too, which has been cool. Other than the influx of guys also like trying to respond, I didn't expect that. I didn't think about that. And whatever. But it's been weird because also like I've been, like I told you all, like trying to be comfortable or being comfortable just wearing more of whatever I want to wear. Um, but then also like I don't know, I just don't be thinking about guys, and like sometimes they be like yelling, they'll like catcall or whatever, and I'm like, damn, I'm really wearing something real regular. Like, not that it matters, but anyways, girl. Um, yeah, it's been cool. Taking care of some things. Like I told you, I feeling like a lot is changing on my outside life. Oh, and in addition to the whole wanting to switch things out, something I noticed that coinciding with these types of shifts with me is something that's been in front of my face the whole time suddenly becoming like unacceptable or wanting to change. So like something as simple as like this worn jewelry piece that I have here. I never liked that it wasn't gold like the rest of my jewelry. I like it all to be uniform. But I've been like, oh, whatever, whatever. Versus now, like with this change, that's also become like, I need to change that, find a solution for that. And other things that I wear, do, have that have been in my face the whole time, um, you know, suddenly become more of like a fix this, you know. So there's that, and I just be trying to focus on the exciting things and the good things. I may or may not vlog this upcoming week, or I may skip as we're getting closer to the end of the month. Let's just say that. Let's just word it that way. Because I don't want to say anything that's not serving me, but I also was just like. So, yeah, as we're getting closer to the end of the month, and I'm having to think about things. Um, and things get more serious and stuff. So I might just take a break from the vlogs. I think that eventually things will go my way in life. I think I eventually will get my way, and I eventually will manifest a life where I don't, where I get to live life that I want, and I get to focus on my business, and I get to be supported in my business. And I think that can continue to happen. A miracle could happen by the end of this month. But nonetheless, something that I've told myself a while ago on this journey, and that I still tell myself now, is that it was worth it no matter what. No matter what consequences I may have to face. And I know it's easy to say this now, but truthfully, I feel like regardless of what happens at the end of this I'll say month because I don't want to necessarily say end of the journey because it's not even like that. It doesn't really make sense as a statement. But as I get closer to the end of this month, right, I've faced this multiple times before. It's probably the fourth time or something like that, where it's just like, is this it? And then my brain kind of goes to assess, like, was this a good decision? Should we have quit? Should we, just those types of thoughts. And I decided a long time ago, and I've stood on this thought of it's been worth it, period. And I don't say that in like a cocky way or anything like that. Because there's nothing to be cocky about. It's, it really comes from a place of I wouldn't have been able to learn what I've learned about myself and grown in the way that I've grown, and my relationships to heal how they've healed. And my relationship with my mom has improved so much. Not that it was ever bad, but hold on. I'm just saying, like, my relationship with my mom has improved so much, and my family, and there's a lot going on in my family right now, like in general. Um, um, but with that has come so much good, like so much good within the family. There's a lot going on in my life, in various ways. I feel like I've said that a gajillion times on the last like 4 vlogs. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I feel just in such a weird space with the universe because I feel like, we've just had like such a long run. I also got this dream communication, and uh, assuming my interpretation, is correct, if we want to use that word. You know, they still tell me the same things and whatever, whatever. But of course, just all in all, all in all, I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for all that I've learned, and I'm struggling a bit to be in a creative space right now, which is where I really need to be. But I just feel like there's so much changing externally that seems good. Like the little things I'm changing in my home and wardrobe and personality and cadence and relationships, and the way my relationships have been, like, the healing of that is a big one, and the amount of love that I feel for my mom, which I've always felt, but like, I just feel so much more love, really, period, like in life, for myself, for people, for friends, for whatever, which I think is a good thing, you know, but then, you know, how many times I gotta say, how many times am I gonna say, um, I also do see the calendar. Like, I just sat and looked at the calendar since finally, like, today, but really tomorrow, because so much of today is done. Tomorrow is my day to, like, sit and figure out whatever for my business so I can start advertising for whatever it is. And even that is struggling to resonate because, like I told you before, I don't want my business centered in needing social media for clients. I want a business that operates outside of social media. How there's so many businesses that still do. Yes, social media is like the powerhouse or whatever, but I do want a business and a business model where I don't need social media to get clients. I want to be on social media less. If I'm on there for my business, and I know YouTube is social media, YouTube is different in my opinion. Like, YouTube is different. Um, I don't want to have to be posting reels or TikToks. And even my relationship with Instagram is like iffy because I actually like Instagram. I'm not like an Instagram hater like other people. I do like how I can stay connected with actual people that I know on there, and that's kind of the only app. Not kind of. That really is the only app that I have where I'm connected with old friends or people that I meet, and whatever I can message them, whatever. That's not really the space for TikTok, and I don't use Facebook, and I don't use anything else. And so there's that part, but I also, like, really loathe. I try not to say hate or loathe. I really strongly dislike Meta as a company and the stupid shit that they do with Instagram. And I don't want to have to be dependent on that app or any app to um, find people and women to work with. I also just feel in such a weird space, and I'm still standing on business with honoring myself and my path. Oh, that reminds me, I have an email to send. Quick sidetrack. Long story short, there was this. How I even want to word it without going into a full detailed tangent. Just there was a way that I could have made some quick money that in the past I would have moved forward with, but um and so at first I agreed like, oh yeah, I could just do something like this or I can whatever. And then I was just like, honestly, no, cuz I wouldn't be doing that if I didn't feel like I need money. That's coming from a place of I need money, so maybe I can start being okay with this type of stuff again. And it's a weird space to be in with that because on one end that's like, first of all, it's not a lot of money. So that sure it's easy to decline in that sense, but it's like on one end I want to still honor myself, my journey, my path, and then on the other end it's like, well, it looks like stuff is getting real, like we got to maybe start figuring stuff out. And I don't know, it's just weird space. But all in all, I declined. I decided to be like, wait a second, I'm not going to start going back into this shit, at least not now, at least not yet. But I don't really plan on ever. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that I've gained from this journey, or part of, or one of the biggest things that I've gained from this journey, is I'm not gonna. I feel like now, and I'm still young, I'm still on the journey, but now I feel like kind of no matter what comes at me, I'm at least not gonna leave myself behind. Not gonna start beating myself up. Um, like I used to, and get into that headspace. Like I feel like I'm gonna do my best to take care of myself the best that I can. Um, and and the healing of my relationships is a big one. Like when I say healing of my relationships, I'm kind of more getting at the healing of my relationship with relationships. Like my relationship with relationships, my relationship with love, my relationship with reciprocity and exchange and giving and receiving and in social life. Like that just aspect of my world has taken an immense W because of this journey. And as has my relationship with money, believe it or not. I mean that has been so far. I can't say how that will be in a month or two, but I can say right now that that has consistently changed, and it's still going strong, at least as of now. I mean, I think that's clear. The fact that I bought any clothes, but I do still currently feel like the most important thing is how I feel and feeling like my best self, and um how I carry myself and the energy that I feel when I'm out and about and I'm in my daily life or whatever. Like I feel like my home, my space, and my clothing are important things. And so, thrifting a couple dresses, I spent like $20 and got like a handful of new dresses. And I spent like a couple hundred on the shoes that and then I made like 100 something back, and I had like 100 something I had like 200 to even spend on shoes or on stuff. So, um, still being mindful, but I don't know. I don't even know why I'm doing this math or sharing the math. Um, but all of this to say, I hope you're doing well, girl, and keep showing up for yourself. I mean, I may or may not vlog this week. Who knows? I have a thing I'm going to this week. I have a thing I'm going to next week. I'm going to be out of town essentially for um, a few days at some point, and just have some stuff coming up. So I'm figuring it all out. In the meantime, I'm focusing on things that make me happy. I've been really into pink, specifically soft pink. Um, Soft pink everything. So that's been fun. And I'm trying to make sure I'm not just distracting myself and that I'm still honoring myself. I'm going to go on a walk this evening for show and just ask them some questions like, what's the fucking plan? Spirit team. Like, what? I really be feeling like this month I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to be creating and in a creative mode with like so much stuff, including heavy stuff, just suddenly coming into my life. Oh, did I even tell y'all? I feel like I feel a little bit more comfortable talking about this now. Um, I don't even know. This is like this is, I guess, a tangent or a new question. I don't even know if I like men for real. Side note. I've been this whole time telling myself that I'm bisexual and questioning my even queerness even within that. And I'm not even going to go into the full story because it's still so fresh, but just know I'm assessing that, I guess. Because I, until like things are still, things are still. But yeah, that's been a heavy thing too, though. Not heavy like dark, like, or sad like some other things, but heavy just in the sense of just like, there's so much changing and moving at one time. And in one sense, like I've said before, like that in itself feels like a sign to me that things are going in my favor. But then there's also just like when I look at the calendar and I'm like, this shit is really not adding up. It's, and so, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say on that. And I've had a great weekend. I've had a great week. I plan to continue to have a good week moving forward. Um, I'm proud of myself for all that I have achieved on this journey. I'm proud of myself for all that I have learned and all that I will continue to learn. Um, and it's crazy because I feel like I've already lived so much and I'm still in my 20s. If you really think about it, like, you know, like I'm grateful. I'm a little confused, uh, a little excited, a little afraid, a little sad, a lot of things at once. And so that's kind of my update. And still always just feeling like so emotional, even though I'm like out of that cycle phase and stuff. Like I just still feel like, I'm not saying it's because of Sedona, but it has kind of been since Sedona. But since Sedona, a lot of stuff has been happening that I think facilitates this emotional stuff also. I think it's not, I don't know, chicken or the egg. I don't know what I'm getting at there, but I'm not saying like, oh, it's because of Sedona that all this, but it is just like, ever since Sedona, I have felt like so emotional or emotionally tender, and then there's also been stuff popping up that like reinforces emotional tenderness within me. um and yeah, I hope you continue to do well, girl. And I think I already mentioned today I did the community event with Solverge. That went well, and I don't think that there's anything else to update on. And oh, I guess this is the last video, so what emoji should we put? uh put a white heart. That's what I resonate with, either a white heart or something soft pink, because I've been really been into the soft pink heavily. So the white heart, because I just, that's what resonates with me right now in the space that I'm in, and I think that's the emoji we'll use.